Let's watch this video and learn from it.
Recently,
Okay? All right, guys.
Professor Wole Soyinka,
Watch.
again, have taken a swipe on the obedience. And, many have said that it has become an unbecoming exercise by him. What's your take once more?
Well, in my place, when a man gets to a certain age, his children and relations always watch meticulously the level of his cognitive ability. So it's not unusual for a man of that age to start witnessing what I will call a degenerative mentality in his reasoning capability. And why I say this is that when you start getting to that age, your wise children will start limiting your access to the public so that probably people do not begin to witness certain degeneration, because it has a way of denigrating on the heroism the person has made in the past. I find what he's saying of late a bit contradictory and illogical. First of all, he went to see Tinubu and he said that he made it as a policy and he does not criticize anybody in power except after 1 year. It is only a man in power that his competence is an issue, not a man that is not in power. A private citizen like you, his competence is not in issue. In law,
It's not in question.
good. In law, the first thing you do when you want to address any legal issue is to identify the issue. So he's talking about competence, and then he's relating it to a man whose competence is not in issue because the man is not in power. And the man that his competence is in issue, you say no, you don't want to talk about such a man till after 1 year. But you're making it your busybody to talk about a man who is not in power, and you're talking about competence. I find it a bit illogical and completely out of the way. In law, if you miss the issue, every other thing you're arguing goes to no issue. That is number one. And that again shows you that he was not really talking about the competence of P2B, because it's not an issue. He has a lot of ethnic and, pecuniary and personal interests while he's talking about him. You don't expect a man who openly said that somebody is going to finance his supply of rice to Africa and who helped him to equip his house with furniture. That is personal and pecuniary interest. You don't expect him to be objective when he's analyzing the competence of that man in power, which he refused to analyze. And then he's talking about a man who is not in power and he's talking about competence. He just wants to rope it in. Then, thirdly, he was saying about the competence of P2B, assuming without conceding that the competence is even an issue. And then he's basing the competence of P2B on the actions of people that are operating independent of the exercise of the will of P2B. I give you an example. I am an actor. I have a lot of die-hard fans that will defend me anyway, no matter what I do, because they are personally attached to me. I don't even know them. Does it make any sense for somebody to say, I am not competent to act because of the actions of my die-hard fans, whom I do not even know? No, it is really ridiculous. But when you judge the statement of this man, you see how hollow, illogical, and how, I don't want to use this word, but I don't have a better word, how a bit senseless it is. Because you are saying P2B is not competent to govern Nigeria. And your reason is because of the actions of some of his fans in the social media, whom he does not even know.
And have never met.
And have never met. So how does it affect my competence as an actor? for the defense that my fans, whom I do not know, who are personally attached to me, whatever I do, how do you compare my competence to act with such actions? That's just what he did. So I think he needs pity. And then I think his children should try and restrain him the more so that he does not continue to expose his lack of cognitive ability to articulate his reasoning at that age, which is not too abnormal because what he said is hollow, illogical, and very, very unfortunately doesn't make any meaning.
Many, obviously, when I read the social media, I've seen